Hey guys, I hope you're having a great start to your week. I know that I had a very busy day, school orientations and things like that. But I want to talk to you guys about my books, the difference in them, and just kind of what they are. I was told that I'm marketing wrong in a somewhat very aggressive email, that it's okay. I mean, I told them thank you for their feedback. I appreciate them. Because the only way to grow is to learn, right? And as an independent author, you have to write the book, you format the book, you make the covers for the book, you're doing draft edits with beta readers, you're finding an editor, depending what your process is. The point is all of it is on your shoulders as the independent author. You're like your own enterprise, you're like, your mind is your business. So you're kind of marketing yourself, right? You are your own business. And marketing is a big part of that. And so it's such a big learn for so many reasons to learn how to do all that you need to do. And I know for me, it's been a humongous growing curve from where I started to where I am now and where I need to be in the future. Like, I am always learning, always Googling, always watching YouTube videos, and always asking other independent authors for their thoughts and opinions. But this is why I appreciate you guys so much on social media, because you guys are like, the golden ticket to Willy Wonka, but like my books, you know what I'm saying? Like you are, every time you hold my book, it's like the golden ticket to me. You are offering people into a different world. And I don't know if that analogy makes any sense, but the point is you guys are the reason I have reviews. I don't have a huge personal network because of what I do, right? I don't have that, and sometimes it's not because of what I write, because a lot of my family members only listen to books, or maybe they don't have time, or this their religious beliefs, and I'm not going to hold that against them. Like, I'm not going to force my people to read something they're not comfortable with, which is why if you private message me and say, hey, I'm DNFing your book, I don't mind, because not every book is for every person, and it's not going to bother me that it's a book that doesn't fit you, especially with the content that I write. Teach his own, and I'm never going to be upset about that. I mean, I have been upset about certain things, and that's all because of how it's worded. I've been told very horrible things, mean things that have definitely struck a nerve and hurt my feelings, because I'm a human, but I've chosen to not let myself dwell on those. But I think that negative criticism in a constructive way can be helpful, and that happens. Anyways, moving on. So, just thank you guys, side note, for all the, I don't know what I knocked over, probably one of my daughter's art pieces. So, moving on, I want to talk to you about my books, what they are, and my sincerest apologies for perhaps marketing them wrong. I don't intend to do that. I am going to learn and I'm grow, and I appreciate your feedback. You know who you are. So, first book, I don't know what this was. I don't know, playing with my chin fat. So, my first book, don't mind my notes. This is my copy I write notes in, obviously. I'm working on something from one of the characters in this book, and I like to put my notes so I can stay consistent throughout my novels, or if I have sneak appearances and add Easter eggs, which I love Easter eggs. So anyway, I just will reference those a lot in my books, and I'm currently working on something that involves this book. So, that's why I make sure I'm being consistent in each way. That's one of my biggest pet peeves in books. I read one book, as a complete side note, and it said in one sentence, he came strutting to me in his blue coveralls. And then 3 sentences later, I loved the green coveralls he was wearing. Then another sentence, his whole mechanical crew was wearing blue coveralls. And then the next sentence was green, and it was like green, blue, and I was like, are the coveralls green or are the coveralls blue? I want to know. That's really random, but I just prefer consistencies. And when it's pointed out to me that I have an inconsistency, it's a gold nugget to me, because I do not like that. Okay, side note, that is a random fact about me. So, Hunted, I would describe as a dark thriller, and has a very graphic content, You kind of have to have a strong stomach for it. On Amazon, I said an ending you will not see coming, guaranteed. And that is because I have yet to find one of my readers. And this book actually gets sold quite a bit. Not as much reviews on this one or captured, but it gets sold quite a bit. And I think maybe the reviews don't happen because of the graphic content, like they don't know how to review this. But I have yet, and I get a lot of emails, private emails about this one saying I won't review it because of the graphic content. I'm not comfortable recommending it to others. But I have yet to have anyone tell me that they have guessed the ending. And so I'm going to keep that guarantee on there until someone messages me and says, oh, I figured this out. And I'm like, haha, did you figure it out or did you cheat? But if you actually figured it out, I'm going to be very impressed with you. Challenge accepted. Anyway, so dark thriller with some spice in there, thrown in some taboo romance happening. It's for the most part told in two perspectives, the victim and the police officer. And there's a third perspective thrown in there around chapter 17, and that perspective continues to happen throughout it in the book. I think it's in the back. Yeah, his name's Corey, and he's a pretty prominent, I don't want to say too much, but anyway, it's three people, and it's pretty cool. It's a cool, different story that, you know, a lot of people will like. So definitely more classified as a dark thriller with some spice thrown in. Yeah, that's how I would describe this one. You're basically being stalked by a crazy man in this book, and dark family secrets are revealed. Yeah, I don't want to say too much. I don't like describing this book very much because I feel like I don't want to accidentally give something away. But definitely a page turner, edge of your seat. Yeah, I've had a lot of people say, whoa, like this book gives me the wow, you know? So with Captured, can't really be read as a standalone. I mean, it could, but you might be a little confused. So Captured, I would describe more as a dark romance. There's a very toxic relationship that develops in here. And one of my reviewers described these books super well. Described this book really well. They described it as, it answered all the questions that they didn't know they had, I think is how they phrased it. It's in one of my pictures. But if you go in my reels, which I always keep hidden, so go to my reels page, you'll be able to find a reel about Hunted that does like a piece of the prologue. Or you can watch it on my YouTube channel, which is in my link tree. You can watch the full version of it. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'll describe this as more of a dark romance. My friend drew this. She is amazing. She doesn't like to be tagged, but if you want to know who drew this and want to looking for an artist, DM me. I will let you know. Art by Crystal. She's also on my follow, so if you search like Art by Crystal or something like that. But anyway, so I describe this as more of a dark thriller. And this is like a half of a person's face and half of another person's face, so I can't really say why, but if you get it, you get it. So this is definitely more like dark romance, toxic relationships, morally gray hero. But to get to the dark romance one, you kind of have to read this Hunted first. And there will be a third book in this trilogy eventually. However, this book ends in a conclusive way that you don't feel like you're, you know, left hanging. So I would say you could read these two books, feel like you have your answers, feel concluded. The third book is going to be kind of just a play on Captured, but I can't really say what it's about yet because it would give that away. So those are those books. My thrillers, my dark romance, definitely have to have a heavy stomach for both of these. Now, on a completely separate note, in a completely separate everything, The Inevitability of Us would be, it has darker themes in it, I would say. There's definitely some heavy emotional topics, but it's not, I would say it's not as like violent as the other two. And this is more a romantic love story with themes of loss and kind of all the different, I've already talked about this book a lot, but this is So a story about friendship and found family, all the different ways that people can grieve and growth and self-discovery, 4 perspectives, but so that's kind of where we're at with this. So each of my books, I know that coming out with Hunted as a debut novel was a very risky choice. It's not cookie cutter. It's not something that a lot of people can stomach, and putting that out there like that was a risky move. And it didn't get me a lot of brownie points from a lot of people, and especially like inner circle people. But I remember my mom was proud of me, so that was pretty cool. But I like when I sent this off to a lot of different agents that I've talked to in the past, because I've been published in quite a bit of like anthologies. I can't talk, you know what I mean? Anthologies, short stories and stuff like that have been published. So anyway, I've talked to agents and stuff, and they were just like, I don't want to work with them. Like, this is dark, you know, like you need to put out something that's more cookie cutter, more like it's super late, long day, like follows a structure, you know. And you know those books, there's a structure to them. You read enough of them, you know the structure. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to put out books that were not cookie cutter, that pushed boundaries, that weren't the normal, that said in very clearly that was my voice. You know, like this is a Labrie James book. And yes, I do use a pen name. It's not because I'm ashamed of my real name. It's just because privacy. That came up today with another friend of mine about books and like pen names. And it wasn't anything to do with ashamed, because almost every single person I know knows what kind of stuff I write. But it's just more like a privacy thing. And also Labrie is a matriarch in my family, and James is a super prominent name in my family, both my grandpas and my uncle, my dad, my brother. So to me it just made sense to use a pen name that honored my family. So anyways, my books push boundaries, and they're uncomfortable, and they're real, and they're intense, and I like that. This one pushes boundaries a lot of the graphic sense. Does this person look familiar to you? This one is different because there is no chapters. It's not a standard structure. This one is just 4 perspectives and a continuation of a story. And some people have found that confusing. Most people have not. The majority of people have said they liked that there was no chapters. They liked that it was just perspective flowing. The majority of people have said they liked that. It helped the pacing of the book, helped them immerse themselves a little bit more. So there was like 1 or 2, and one of the reviewers, she's a great reviewer. Check her channel out. She was very honest and wrote it 3 stars and was like, you know, I liked this book, but the 4 perspectives was a bit much. It could just be a me thing. But that was one reviewer. Most reviewers have said they preferred it that way, and it was unique and interesting and kind of set it apart. And so that's where I'm at with my different books. Hope that clears some things up. We've got an intense and emotional, heart-pounding thriller that will disturb you and romance you in the weirdest ways. We've got dark romance that answers a lot of questions in this book. And we've got a love story, or 2 love stories, 1 book, 4 people, lives changing. So anyway, lots of coolness. And also, nugget of fact, I have a color scheme to all my books in the same color family. And I hope to continue to do that because I like it. Another fun fact is this original copy of my book has me as a blonde, because I was a blonde for a very, very long time. And then this picture, a lot of you know so well. I only recently changed it because I was like, I'm a redhead and I should probably, not really redhead, I'm auburn. But isn't that funny? Look at my blondness. So anyways, hope that clears it up. I have some surprises in store. Yes, I'm making fun of myself. Please do make fun of me as well. What am I kicking? Hope that clears things up. And if you stayed in through all of this, I appreciate you. And we will talk soon.